edits to render. So I wanted to jump in and talk about what's going on in the Bored Ape ecosystem, the Yuga Labs, really, now this is Yuga Labs ecosystem, incorporating apes, incorporating WeNew, and it's rising tides in a way that I don't think has been expected, but is certainly accepted clearly in the marketplace. We're all getting a sense of renewed interest in this space because of the story elements that are surrounding the trial of Jimmy the monkey. And so we went over it last week of how it seems like you guys sort of centered in onto Wednesdays, leaving, of course, WeNew and 10KTF the Thursdays. But it seems like they've developed a game plan of hitting Wednesdays, new bits of information. And so it's something we talk a lot about here on the show. Please subscribe, hit the bell notification. Consistency in delivering messaging. It's very, very important in this space. So we know when to tune in, and it's working. And we're bringing on our senior buildering correspondent. Joe, can you hear us? Hi, how's it going? I'm over here. And there's a lot of fucking pardon my French, my Francais. There's a lot of buildering going on over here. We've got these not just the me and you guys, but we're building together. We got derivatives. We've got everything associated going on here with this Jimmy the monkey guy and this other side land thing going on, which nobody quite knows what's gonna hit yet. And the Wag Me sign coming here and there and everywhere. I don't know where. But when you put it all together, there's an interest, right? And then who's benefited from that is the building guys, like me and you, right? That's what I love about this, is a lot of the derivatives coming up off this space are getting extremely good pre-reveal attention. And so we'll take a quick look at the rising tide that is Jimmy the monkey trial. And so today they launched, on the MDVMM. This is the weird part. You can go to the Discord for Bored Apes to really find the links, the appropriate links, because we don't want you to sell you on these bad ones or anything. But MDVMM.xyz is the one I got from them, and so today, about 2 hours ago, 3 hours ago, there's a animatic to be played with in terms of website interaction. And I love this for Yuga because, again, it's making it their own, and it's making it fun in a way that's interactive, where you can literally just grab these elements and utilize them, for storytelling elements. It's something that we talk about here on the channel, like we've played with and experimented together. Here you're meant to grab this. Make sure you guys are getting a good view here. Grab this 3 times, and then suddenly the great dog prophet. Hello there, come closer, do not be afraid. I'm the great dog prophet, Gary, because, that's appropriate. I take it you've come to hear Gary's prophecy. And so, from this is the box they were taking shots off of. And you see a lot more fidelity in the art. And so, we all thought they were the clues. And here they give you a really great perspective on filling in that mystery. We talked about, sort of the artistic approach and utilizing the rule of thirds and bringing attention to elements that you think are potentially important within your composition. And they had specific items of this box in those rule of thirds. So it was very easy for, the artistic eye to really see, oh yeah, this is, but anybody, you get that sensibility just in media. Like, that's important. I'm going to need to know that there's a robotic thing there. But here they give you more detail and more context, which I think is fun and clever. And look at who's introducing. I think this is important too, and we're going to talk a little bit about the Bored Ape Kennel Club and why there's been such renewed interest. I'm not here to talk about floor press, but there's renewed interest in it that's exhibited by rise in floor price. And so when you have that, it's due to the reasons that they're going to bring a renewed focus into that section of their ecosystem, which is the doggos. And so to have this character Gary could be potentially a new mascot for the apes, and I think he's a very good one if they continue on down this way. So listen carefully, Bucko. Usually the way this starts is with a boom, and in that moment things get weird. The bond between space and time get all funky. Portal opens and shards appear, fragments to be collected. It says please repeat and go on. I have sound on, but let me know if you guys can hear. I hear like nothing when I was on this. I was just like, I was trying to play with some of the bubbles or something. Put down in the comments if you're hearing something somewhere. I'm not finding it by playing around within the browser. Missed opportunity for me. From the artistic standpoint of view, which, we kind of cover here, the artistic, entrepreneurial, storytelling aspect of this space. So, yeah, Joe, did you have any comments on this? Yeah, I think it's a missed opportunity. Like you said, you got to build. If you're gonna build in all the things, build in some sound, build in some hardware. Build in some a little porn. I'm sorry, Joe. Did you say porn? Yeah. I'm just trying to go along with you and help your show here. I'm in between a shift, so go do what you do. Okay, so I'm just gonna continue on. The go on, great dog prophet. Okay, so, and then we're just slowly moving through. Ostensibly, we're picking up clues. Alpha, the great dog prophet. You need to traverse the underworld in search of them. It's super nasty. To be honest, as the last trailer showed, they were going into the sewers in which to acquire these pieces. At the end of it is the key. So, and this is funny. This doesn't look like the Archstone key entry that we talked about last week. So I was almost expecting that. I was just like, oh, well, we have the key. Well, this is where it goes. And so the Archstone isn't really fully apparent here, and they're integrating. And sometimes I hate this. This happens a lot in cinema, and it's a device, the MacGuffin. Sometimes it's called, but essentially, it's this the Allspark in Transformers. That it's always some sort of cube, and it really just gets under my skin. Sometimes I'm just like, why can't you build something? I agree with you. I was just talking about that. I'm like, if you're gonna design something, if you're gonna go and build something, it's got to be better than some sort of stupid cube, right? Do something interesting. This is you're. I'm glad we are on the same team, Joe, because I agree. They are some kind of power source. So, by the way, this is the element that we were talking about last week. The idea of a mech, and so this mech fighting. Some sort of construction mech, and in a funny way too. It's not like anybody's being slain here. It's just like maybe putting the finger or fist in front of like this riveting gun or something. And so but what we're also seeing is we're seeing a monkey, because it doesn't look quite ape face, right? So we're seeing a monkey face. And sorry, I'm just going to disappear as I go into there. But having an ape face onto a mech body. So this leads to the theory that this is perhaps meant for a mech body. And so, that the different tiers, right? Like, if you can imagine, if, we went over this last week there's different tiers, there's 4 different tiers. If you own, an ape plus a doggo, you get like the top tier, ape alone, second tier, mutant ape and doggo, third tier. Finally, if you're just a mutant, simply mutant, that's already a huge achievement, honestly. You get to have a level 4. And so, what that means, who knows, but it does suggest, ostensibly like, perhaps an avatar on the other side. That's kind of my theory and the conjecture that we conspiracy theorized on last week was this demonstrated some sort of other side avatar scenario where at least you could personalize like the face, because I think that's going to be the biggest challenge no matter what you see in Twitter. Oh gosh, I should bring up Ryda's thing, because it's just so badass. So Ryda, amazing community member of apes and clearly in Renga, also in the 3D hub, and went out of his way, really. This is why I try and reach out to this guy to like build avatars. But he's busy, clearly, building his own version of the other side, which is just really, really, really phenomenal. And that's right. This is a lot of good building here. This guy taking it onto his own, bringing his own building, like with his own hammer. He's building out his own other side. He did this with the Unreal Engine all by himself. He just put these elements together and created a version of the other side, which can be misleading, right? Because this is the ideal, is to have your own avatar that's your PFP, right? That's your guy. And then, maybe if you have a coda, that coda is going to like go with you. This is the dream, right? This is what I think the experience is that we all want. But that is really hard to achieve for individualized PFPs, especially in the ape ecosystem where you have 30,000 of them. And so, but here, if you were on the first trip, you saw that they were all just, homogenous sort of avatars, if you will. But they did have digital readouts. And so you could see like, okay, maybe they're trying to work on some sort of display. There's my PFP on the display, something that we knew had done as well, having a MAYC, with displays of the PFP to personalize them. And I think that's the iteration that they're going to have to go through. So having and starting with the MAYC, that were part of, what's the name? Probability something labs that, did the other side, sort of really build out. Like they brought that raid gaming to probability, I think it is, to the first trip. And so by having that already set, now it's now trying to iterate. And mind you, the alpha that I didn't say break, but like it was just like it kind of came to me yesterday. I was just like, well, these are the projects that I know are doing events concurrent to what ostensibly could be a second trip introduction of these. So like visitors of Ahmadiyya and Voids are just an OG 3D project that I think is perfect for the other side. They're really just smart, collaborative people who are the first. They were the first, 3D PFP that gave you files and they gave you VR. They gave you all these assets so that you could go and play and create, and many, many of us do. And so to have them be incorporated into this first version, I think is really smart, because that community is going to thrive within the other side. And so I think that's coming. I mean, it's got to be coming because it's such a smart move. If they were. And so that being said, that means the other side, this second trip, is going to have some sort of ape avatar. It can't be individualized yet. They kind of, in their own admissions, were like, this is still going to take some time. And so, it takes time to do these builds, right? Are you kidding me? I got to build out, 30,000 like ape faces, and some of them are mutants, and they got like things hanging out of the face, and their mouths are hanging out. It's a lot of building, and I just don't think it can be done in just a couple months. Exactly. And so you have, this timeline, but in that timeline, you can have iterations of this. And so the second trip could be Avatar, apes, plus these new projects coming in could be really dynamic to see, because that is the ideal of having your own PFP. Here's Wagmi-san with his cat. Come on, amazing, right? But having your own PFP, what a great 101 to have, my gosh. And so, having your own PFP, personalized, you in the metaverse is the ideal. We're not there yet, but as we go into the second trip, these are some of the things to prepare for, as well as the story elements. So they need to rationalize it, right? So I think this is what we're getting a sense of like, they're trying to like rationalize it within the story elements, and that's going to, I think, raise the excitement. And this is what 10KTF does really, really well, right? A lot of speculation. I forgot to mention that I was super high right now. Let's hit it with the humor. And I think this is, again, you can tell in the way that the story is being presented. And in the articulation of the art itself, this is made to be a bit more fun. They wanted to inject humor in a big way in this, and I think there's definitely room for it. So everything starts with the key. You got to go get it. Go get it for Gary, baby. He does sound high. And so as we look at the monkeys, it's like, shooting things out their butts. To be honest, the key may have poop on it. It was not expecting Jimmy to create the portal with explosive diarrhea. I don't know, man. Go get the key. And so just trying to, introduce the humor. And I think, again, they're doing a great job of doing that with a mascot. And I think that's, part of the fun. I've been trying, did you guys hear anything? I keep trying to, maybe I need to go back earlier and really drop it from a high place or something. I was trying to play with it. Not hearing too much sound. Hit me in the comments if you do. The Kennel Club obviously has been experiencing some renewed interest. Clearly here when it was Gordon, founder, who mentioned that he wanted to make sure that they're being utilized and part of the fun. Maybe it's in this way, but certainly it got a lot of interest because of the graph that we talked about last week. If you have Bored Ape Kennel Club, it's going to elevate your position depending on if you have a BAYC or a MAYC already. And that's how I pronounce it. Put in this comment section if you pronounce it differently, because some people are pronouncing it in a way that I think is just damn weird. Pardon me. Super sick fight. I don't know if any of you guys are fighting this flu, but this thing is heavy through the holidays. Luckily, we're through the holidays and we're enjoying it, right? Sick as heck. But the thing that's happening that's unique in this story generation is it's causing the speculation on the assets that people think they need in order to succeed in it. Thereby, sort of just everything this is touching, including WeNew, which is a big part of this other side rollout, is getting this sort of, I don't want to say this pump, but certainly this rise in interest that is, rough 30%-ish or so. And so you're seeing this level of interest rise in these assets around it, and that's applied now even to these sort of derivatives. I want to call them derivatives, they're a bad thing, but the applied primate scientist card. This one really almost seemed like an asset from Yuga Labs. I really had to go in and make sure that it wasn't, because it seemed like it was somehow integrated and, no FUD. This is just good fun with, apes who are getting together. And that's my favorite kind of project. That's a project that, me and Joe over there, who's probably already working to build more stuff, we love, because it's within our power as holders of IP to get together with friends and go make something with these assets and create our own stories. And so this one looks to be an exciting one. And certainly the activity, I was looking at this just a day ago and it was 7, right? And so it's got some interest, to say the least, my goodness. And so, and it's emboldening to see, again, it's not about the floor price. It's about the interest in this space and what the stories are able to do in creating interest for this expansion of the metaverse, because that all powers it, right? And so even the mutant hound collars, have been going insane. Not so much directly with the this storyline, but it has, again, that sort of tangential lift from being incorporated into WeNew's 10K TF project. And so, that level of interest, kind of gives it not like a security of financial, stability, but it certainly gives it an ability to be useful within the metaverse, an ability to be an asset in the metaverse, meaning when you're playing, you're going to be able to enjoy it. And I think that that's something that we cover here a lot, that value. And so subscribe to the bell notification, put those little alerts on if you could, because when I go live, it's just like I do this stuff live because like it's germane and it's like it's important now because like, you know, you guys are gonna go check this out. I'm sorry if you're watching this 24 48 hours from now and like these charts are even more exaggerated, because by next, you know, Wednesday, I think especially as it gets closer and closer to the mint, that a lot of these projects are going to be speculated on in ways that, you know, I hope, you know, people don't miss out in a sense on acquiring assets for this event, because this event is clearly like scheduled here on mdmm.xyz. And you know what? I'd love to see Yuga. They did like this thing where they said it's an official Yuga website. If you see like the Yuga logo, I kind of don't see it on here. To be honest, I was just like, it was like they were like doing this thing like you gotta get the logo to make sure it's a Yuga Labs thing. So maybe take that with a grain of salt. Maybe this is all a big rug. So we had the trial of Jimmy last week. That video, which we all saw the key coming out of Jimmy in ways that we didn't want to see, we didn't know was possible to see. And then today, you know, we have the interactiveness and the introduction of a new character. And then it's prepare for the mint in 2 weeks, okay? 2 weeks, study the guide, plan your strategy. So they're going to give us a guide. Okay, let's go. I like this because it's really just like have fun. There's an element that's important. Here's some details on that element. Now here's the game that we're going to play. And so multi-week interactive mint. The steward calls, discovers treasures, and mints what you gather. It's not like oh God, it's minting at 11 o'clock and it's going to mint out at 11 o'clock and 02 seconds because it's going to be botted and I'm never going to have a chance at this thing. It's a multi-week interactive mint. And so I don't even know if the tiers thing applies to this because was this on this website? I think that's just going to go to the movie, and we've seen that key well enough on social media. And so interactive mint, I'm like, what's behind here? A glimpse down the road. Mint reveal February 8th. So really long sort of process. Again, gamified. Let's have some fun for a mint, right? And then the story continues. So you know, leading us down probably to a second trip activation, because we know that's coming, you know, around this time after. So they've segmented it quite well, and just super excited. Put down in the comments what you're excited about and all the crazy stuff that I missed, because there's so many friggin' details to this thing. I want to thank my my co-host for today in the metaverse, Joe, and